last split. But aside from that, he really had great performances. And last time he played against Special, he did actually well in lane, had a CS lead. Just the game ended up getting away from them as a whole. I don't think it was really down to exceL. So I think if he gets a good matchup, he can prove he is one of the top lane laners in such a competitive split. And we are now into draft. Zach's been taken away from Taxa, which he had such great success on. Really great on that champion. And in return, Special losing Zoe. And they'll answer back with Talia. Talia is a great pick of exceL's going back to last split. He played it as much as he could. It was banned away often then. Offers so much pressure in the mid lane and the ability to roam. And Zoe just is Zoe. And on this patch, Zoe hasn't been nerfed heavily. So a hard pick fit to let anyone have, let alone someone with the caliber Special. And exceL are going to take away the Galio. So
we normally see Taxa really start to try and camp top lane. Likes to sit up there with Sendo. Make sure he can get him rolling. So going to be interesting to see whether or not Taxa picks himself an early jungler like the Jarvan, but it's still not banned away here. And just look to get Sendo rolling in his lane, where Misfits are a team who like to play hyper aggressive. Their first 3 games in the Prem, they won in under 30 minutes. Their last game against M&M was actually a very close game. It was the longest game of the Prem. It was 51 minutes, but Misfits are going to pick up the gangplank for Shikari in the top side.
Yeah, and this just screams confidence. Shikari, he wants his gangplank pick. Yes, Sendu might be able to get a counter, but he's happy to scale up later in the game and to use the ult to make an impact on the map. And Taxa's actually going to pick up the Kazakhs here. So we said Taxa and Afflict were very aggressive, and Taxa is being aggressive. He's picking up the Kazakhs, which sort of needs to snowball to make work. And Kalista coming in as well. So exceL already saying, sure, you want to take gangplank, that's fine. You'll be useful at 30 minutes. We will have won the game by then. That's exceL's goal right here.
Taxa throwing it down the gauntlet, saying, come at me, Afflict. Let's see what you can do. Ooh. Afflict needs to pick himself up. Maybe something aggressive as well, where he could just go tanky. But I want to see Afflict really pick himself up.
We have seen Afflict play Rengar, and we could end up seeing the fated Rengar-Kazakh matchup. Not yet, though. We'll pick up the Rise.
He did play it under the name Bimbo. He actually did play it versus M&M last game. In that 51-minute game, he went 1-7 on it. So
yeah, so
had a good early, but like pretty poor late. Although his first game of Prem, when he played the Rengar, he went 4-0-4. So you can't, like you said earlier, you can't really judge the performance just off the score on paper. Afflict has shown that he's a very good Rengar player, but he's going to pick up the Sejuani. So actually going for more team-orientated pick here, knowing that obviously with Gangplank being the top laner, they needed to pick something that would be able to frontline for the team. And let's see what exceL are going to try and pick up in the top side. It's going to be the Gnar into the Gangplank.
No, makes sense. On this patch, he still hasn't been nerfed. And, you know, I've seen there actually a Korean build that started with Gnar where you'd build a Phantom Dancer, more attack speed. You can absolutely destroy Gangplank even into the late game. You can still hold yourself up well against him and kill his barrels very quickly. Really solid team fight and scaling coming out from Misfits. exceL are going for the early game pressure, and they are starting to take away Chris Biggs' AD carry picks. You don't want the Varus. Good pick in a Kalista because you can lock him down, and also really strong scaler. Likely Misfits will probably ban away supports here. Could see the Alistair being an issue, or actually going for the Azir. Actually, that makes sense because they've picked the Rise already. So it looks like they're going to chomp down on a exceL's pool. Interesting to see if exceL ban another AD carry here.
I would assume that would be the case. Just deny a little bit more, or alternatively,
could see Xayah get taken away here. Xayah's been banned a lot of these games. Xayah Rakan for Misfits here would be a devastating bot lane.
Remember that Tom Kench is still available as well for exceL if they want to get their hands on it. Caitlyn's going to get removed, and Xayah's still open. Yeah,
so interesting to see. I guess Misfits might just ban away another mid laner. Could take something safe off the board. Although actually, I mean, Pharrell doesn't really need to take anything safe because he has counter pick.
Let's see what's going to happen. It's 5 seconds on the board before the last ban from Misfits comes through. That ban will be Tom Kench. I think that was a very smart decision by exceL, but they could first pick the Rakan if they want to deny that combination from Misfits. That is always an option to them.
Yeah, Braum is open as well. I really wouldn't want Misfits to get Braum because you then have Sejuani Braum. It just makes their team fighting insanely strong and negates a lot of Kalista's pressure. So it looks like exceL are going to pick it up partly as it's a great pick for them, but also as the denial. And you got to ask yourself, the Xayah has been hovered by Crispberg. Could actually see the Xayah Rakan come out here, or could see a different support from Prosper.
Well, look, you did predict it. Say you might see the Xayah Rakan. There you go. It gets locked in by Crispberg and Prosper. Pretty strong combination. They're going to have a very good early game on that. How does this work, though? How does Kalista, in the current meta, fare into Xayah and Rakan?
I feel like with the matchup, it comes down to whether Kalista gets knocked up or rooted by it. I mean, it sounds simple, but if Kalista can kite around and avoid both of those, she's in a really good situation just to get Ren stacks built up.
Ooh, okay.
Victor comes out. Victor has actually been buffed in this patch, gets a bit of extra shielding from his Q, so decent pick into Rise, because if you see the Rise with your W, can start to burst through his damage, and you have your own shield to help with trades.
Ferndog did put a tweet out recently talking about the Bruiser Rise as a potential. Abyssal Mask, Iceborne Gauntlet.
The Bruiser Victor, you mean?
Bruiser Victor, sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get my back on that one.
Not sure if we'll see that coming out here. Could potentially, though.
Yeah.
You might be right. I think someone to say Misfits comp scales incredibly well. I mean, Rise and Gangplank are huge hyper carries. And then I think the Rakan's really useful here because it provides extra engage on top of Sejuani. And then it's just so hard to deal with this Xayah. If you have your Kazakhs jump on top of the Xayah can just ult up and you're going to get bursted down by all these hyper carries. So exceL are going to look to try and get an early lead. I think the thing is, if Misfits bot lane do sort of botch and engage in the 2v2, Braum and Kalista can punish. The main way this bot lane works is you stack up Rens and you stack up Braum's passive. And so by the time the stun lands, you're in a really vulnerable position. Because Rakan is squishy compared to most melee supports. The only thing I'm not quite sure about is how mid lane goes, because I think Rise has the pressure before Victor gets his back and gets the improved laser.
Yeah, once he gets the Hex Core upgraded, then the wave clear does start to come through for the Victor. And I think it feels like the Xayah Rakan is a mid-game insurance for Misfits, giving time over to the Rise and the Gangplank to get that scaling going. They've also got Sejuani to act as a front line. So they've got that they can work with here. And I feel that's what Misfits are kind of really working towards with the comp they've put together. But what are you seeing from exceL? What's the game plan here for these guys?
Well, I think they have a winning top lane. They got the counter pick. Their bot lane has a lot of early pressure. Like if Crispberg or Prosper mess up in the 2v2, they can get punished so hard. Being that they're both very squishy. Rakan, yes, he has a lot of mobility, but if you lock him down, he dies very fast compared to something like a Braum or an Alistar. And then they lose. The only really lane that I feel like they lose out in pressure is mid, but that's only before the early backs. And it should be able to set up Taxa to make some aggressive plays. He's on a Kazakhs. Kazakhs is going to spike well early, and it's up to Afflict to negate that pressure. I think it's using as well as, I believe, I might have changed at the last second, but Krumel has heal instead of cleanse. Does better for the 2v2 because you can obviously heal up your jungler as well as yourself. But vulnerable to ganks. If a flash root comes in from the Rise, easy follow up with the Sejuani ult.
Now, one of the things we see Misfits do is they love to play around the map, get that vision down, and purely control the Baron pit. They love at 20 minutes to get Baron as soon as possible. Very short game times, but they get the most Barons of any team in ESL Premiership. They've got 6 Barons across 4 games. And considering all their games are under 30 minutes bar 1, that's a pretty impressive stat to have. But we've loaded through onto the Summoner's Rift. Misfits on the blue side, exceL on the red. It's our last game of the day. And if exceL can beat Misfits, they will hand them their first loss and tie for first place in Group A.
Yeah, and we can see something interesting that's come out is Rise has picked up minion dematerializers. Very useful for getting the early push so you can recall for a tier. Has got the spell book as well, so can switch to TP if he wants. And actually coming out from Jewel as well on the bot side. I think that's a good pickup, because I don't think, I know, Xayah can actually win the shove early. Because obviously with W you get a lot of shoving power, and Kalista has to build up Ren stacks in each minion. So this is going to try and help negate that. Help Venza shove out, get some pressure advantage. So Taxa can make some moves towards the bot side of the map if he so pleases, because the early game really is about him. You need this Kazakhs to get ahead if it's going to be a worthwhile pick. You can't look to scale against Misfits completely when you're against the Sejuani in the jungle. Actually seeing Fleet Footwear come out from Afflict as well, so hopefully going to keep him a bit healthier in his clear.
Saw an Aftershock earlier on in the day, but Fleet Footwork typically is the pick that a lot of players like to take on the Sejuani in the jungle. Just Gives you a little bit more sustain for those earlier stages. Obviously, she needs that attack speed to really start out. And it also does help on the ganks because you get that extra burst of attack speed, which helps you get the stun stacks all charged up and ready to go.
Yeah, and it's something we've actually seen people working on Victor as well, which is it's taken because you Q get with your upgraded Hex Core gives you movement speed, and then you auto and it gives you even more movement speed. It also gives you quite decent sustain in the lane interface, so something that it just shows awareness from these maybe higher level players in this game, where they know what the current most efficient optimal rooms to use that maybe are a bit more known to the low elo players.
And Taxa, like I said, likes to put a lot of attention onto Sendo in this top lane. He's started a red buff, so he's going to be a little bit more time before he can come up here and help Sendo out. But also on the Kha'Zix, what's his ganking capability? What is he actually really going to be offering early for his team?
Yeah, I think it's quite... I mean, bot lane you have a lot of ganking pressure, but really it's hard to get on top of Crispy because he's going to be playing back. And Prosper is so mobile. You need Yule to set up the CC. Same thing in mid. Krumel, it's hard to land his the W, the stun, and top lane. There's no hard CC unless he goes into Mega Gnar. So really look for Taxa, look for counter ganks or invades if he wants to get pressure here. Or in a situation where, for example, Shikari's overextended, but with him being pushed in here, it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Yeah, Krumel does need a little bit of time. Like you said, early really struggles into the Ryze because Ryze can just have that natural shove. Chrisberg and Prosper playing actually quite safe in this lane. They're staying equal in CS. They're just letting the wave crash into them.
Yeah, especially with the use of the minion dematerializers. This Ryze is getting the shove in quite easily. He's he's burned quite a bit of mana though here, so it seems likely he's going to look for a recall now, switch to TP and come back with his tier.
Going to be doing that indeed. Just going a little bit aggressive here in the bot lane from Chrisberg and Prosper. They're just going to shove this wave into Venza and Duel. Obviously do still have those minion dematerializers on Duel, so he can help shove the wave if he needs to. Now, everyone's just playing a little bit safer. Taxa wants a bit more time, wants to hit his level 6 so he can get into lane sneaky-like.
We actually see Krumel did go cleanse in the end, just for the defense against the Flick special. I think that's a really smart call. I can't exactly remember which game it was, but in Korea early today, I believe it was Porn actually, was playing mid lane and he was against Sejuani and didn't take cleanse, and he just died constantly. I think he was on Orion and just constantly getting locked down by the... Actually no, I think it was Azir actually, Azir without cleanse against Sejuani, and he just constantly got locked down by this ult and killed. So I was happy to see that Krumel's taking it to kind of avoid that.
And Prosper stepping forward, just take a little bit of poke, almost got this concussive blow stacked up onto him, but he's with Azir, he gets that extra range on his shield so he can dive back nice and safe. That's why you're seeing Prosper playing quite far forward with Chrisberg. Just wants to make sure he can do that. Sendo taking a lot of damage out of Shikari's health bar. Really starting to pressure him in at the moment.
Yeah, and this is the advantage now has, especially with the fleet footwork he's decided to take. Gives him a lot of sustain, and it's even harder to sort of get him away from you. And this is why you take this counter pick. Kari recalled and looking at TP back up here to catch the wave. Something to note, Special managed to get that early shove and recall for the tier. Krumel didn't want to recall until now. Actually going the tier himself. Interesting pickup, considering this is on 8.3, so the changes for the Saracen Brace haven't come through.
We saw Caps do this on Fnatic actually, pick up the tier on the Victor. He goes for this real like max shield build.
Ah, yeah.
It just stacks mana and it makes him, he's like unkillable when you get the Q off as well.
Yeah.
And then you pop the Saracen Brace. It's really filthy. And it's had a little bit of rise even before the changes to Victor recently, with obviously the change, well, not the changes to Victor, sorry, the changes to tier and the changes to the mid items.
That would make sense because, you know, there's a lot of damage coming out from Misfits. You do want a bit of survivability, especially when Victor has short range. So I guess that's somewhere where my knowledge is lacking. Thanks for filling me in, Jake.
Imagine getting advice on mid lane from me. You don't know, by the way. Sendo having a little bit betrayed with Shikari. Cannon Barrage gets thrown down and Sendo's now lost Mega Gnar, so he's just going to peel away, clear that barrel out. He did bait the ultimate out of Shikari, so if plays look to happen, they can't happen across the map without Gangplank having to try and assist in, as Taxa managed to steal the Krug away there. Not the Krug, the Grump away there.
Yeah, so... Wait, did he get that? I didn't quite see.
He did steal it.
He did, well...
He stole it with W, I think, as well.
Props to him then. Yeah, didn't use the smite, bit of a misplay from a flick there, but that's what you want to do is Kazakhs just get these small advantages. Sejuani is healthy and tanky enough and has an escape, so not likely you're going to be able to just kill her in the jungle. Getting a few advantages.
A lot of damage onto Kramil's. Prospect actually looking to go in for the engage. Grand Entrance gets thrown down and he does manage to walk away, but Kramil loses so much health. It's a special.
Again, just great roam from Prospect coming out here. Solid W, doesn't even have the ult, and manages to force Kramel's flash, and he's now chunked out and low. Not the position you want your mid laner to be in, especially when you're against such a scaling composition.
And you were talking about exceL and Misfits, about how exceL, if they can win this game, they pull themselves out something. But hold on, you have to hold the phone because Taxa is sniffing around. Did get spotted on a control ward. As a flick comes in with an Arctic Assault, tries to land a Winter's Wrath. Taxa doesn't actually have a jump available to him. Does finally throw it down, and now special roots up Kramil. Gravity Field will put him away from actually chasing for that kill.
So much damage onto a flicked here, really looking squishy. Taxa's going to chase him even further out. This is important because with Kramil being so weak in the mid lane, he needs Taxa to relieve this pressure. And as you can see, Special has to walk down, respect the fact that the Kazakhs is there and his jungler had to back off.
Taxa's managed to get himself the wrist scuttler, so they'll spot out Special as well on this rise. Just having a little bit of a sniff around, and Kramil, because he bought that tier and the amp tone, hasn't actually backed and upgraded his hex core yet. Sendo about to get Narso, Mega Narso. He should be able to heal up nice and safe here. He was looking a little low there against Shikari.
Special is being collapsed on here and actually gets taken out.
Chaos Storm comes down and First Blood gets picked up by Taxa. exceL with one on the board. Now Sendo trading against Shikari here, looking for the damage, and Sendo! A sliver of health manages to answer and get a kill. That's 2 for exceL on the board.
Uncharacteristic mistakes from Misfits solo laners. Shikari losing out just by millimeters against Sendo. And Special, a bit too aggressive. Both of them dying without using their flashes there. I mean, we said Kramil was struggling, but he's got himself back in the game here and gets a good recall. Taxa there to punish, and this is what we needed the Kazakhs to do, to be aggressive and punish these carries. And so far he's done this. Only a 1k gold lead to exceL, but it does look promising when they're playing the #1 team currently in the UK Prem.
Well, exceL have only lost a game to Wind and Rain. They're the only team that have beat them. So, nice little bit of a stat for you there.
Yeah, and
they're looking to punish Misfits for small mistakes on the map. And Sendo actually managed to get that kill with a Kindle Gem and a Coal.
HP broken, man. Well, you saw he survived the ticks off the trial by fire from Shikari with only a few slivers of HP left. But Kramil in a much better position. He has been given the blue buff and now has his hex core upgrade, so he can actually shove these waves. Maybe not into the rise, but he can clear them before they hit his tower.
That's very big.
Small CS lead still on the side of Special, but that was rivaled by the CS lead to Sendu top lane. But now with these 2 kills being picked up, you can see that Taxa's actually managed to pick up his jungle item.
Ooh, that went. It's found a flick, looking for a bit of damage onto him. Gonna go invisible. Sendo is also hanging about. Oh, Special's thrown down the ultimate. That's forced the flash out of Taxa. Flashes over the Baron Nashor wall to get out of safety.
exceL playing very respectively. It was pinged out that the enemy bot lane had moved up, so they knew they had to back off. It would turn into a 5v3 very quickly if they stayed around. Taxa having to flash out. The right decision though. Maybe a more unexperienced jungler might overstay there, think that he can wait until his jump comes back off cooldown, but he uses the flash early, is respectful, and doesn't suffer any major losses with that.
I have to admit, but I'm a little disappointed in Chrisberg and Prosper not wearing matching skins.
Yeah, synergy a bit off there. I wonder if he'll bite them back later in the game.
Massive lack of communication could cost them team fights.
Could this be trouble in paradise? Maybe between the bot lane there.
Even so, the Lovers in a little bit of a tough at the moment. Did manage to shove Venza under tower as the duo went for a roam around to try and spot out any potential junglers coming in. But Taxa looking for Special. There is a ward in that bush, and Special hasn't actually placed one himself because that's a control ward. Unaware where Taxa is, as he's invisible at the moment.
Yeah, that's really solid from Taxa, just facilitating his solo laners. The kill pressure is not amazing because they don't have much engage, but it's just you always have to play scared. This Kha'Zix who runs around the rushes, turns invisible. You have to respect him because his damage is insane.
Now we're at 12 minutes. The gold is dead even, and again, it's another very slow-paced game, Orcs. We've had so much. I say that, and then an engage comes through, but they cancel it anyway. It's been a very slow-paced game. Bar the 2 kills, which exceL have managed to pick up, Misfits have done a really solid job of keeping them close to exceL. And that mainly comes from the CS leads here. And I mean, mid, there's a big discrepancy coming through, but exceL actually have a massive lead in this top side. exceL over Shikari, really starting to punish him.
Yeah, and this is why you pick this now. It's a good matchup in the Gangplank. Shikari was confident to take the Gangplank first pick, and he's being punished for it, but the question is, will it be enough? You have the Relic Shield on Gangplank, which gives you gold whenever you hit an enemy champion. You have Kleptomancy as well, so even though that CS lead is there, gold lead's not going to be that significant between them. I mean, bar the 1 kill that's come through, Gangplank's happy to farm up, get the extra gold, be a bit for Bankplank, and scale later into the game.
It's very deceptive with the fact that Sendo's got a kill, CS lead, but actually, gold-wise, at the moment, Shikari and Sendo are relatively close to one another as far as gold comes, and that's because of Shikari having that Relic Shield and the Kleptomancy. Give him a little bit of gold, but Afflict, hanging about, he's on a pink ward, hasn't been spotted. Could look for a kill for Misfits. That's going to be the flash. Grand Entrance comes through. Venza's forced to flash away. He's ignited, throws in the ultimate, and the 2-man Glacial Fissure comes down. There's going to be the Cannon Barrage, and now a teleport for exceL's coming down. Sendo not going to commit to it. And Shikari also did burn his ultimate for that. But meanwhile, Taxa taking a lot of damage from Special. Overload really starting to chunk him out, and he is a squishy bug.
Yeah, I really like the play from exceL's bot lane. Jewel got in the way to block the Glacial Prison, and it allowed Venza to escape, and then Jewel was pulled out by Venza's ult. I think they went a bit too aggressive there. They went back in for the play, and Sendu's TP was a bit late, so didn't actually manage to get much there. They did. It looks like Shikari actually cancelled his ult as well. Actually being in the flash here.
Oh, that's going to be the flash on Shikari, though. Forces
cancelled his TP, sorry. Yeah, I think he cancelled his TP already. Cancelled his TP at the same time as Sendu. I didn't see it there, but based on the cooldown he did. They did manage to escape with their lives. And burning Prosper's ult is pretty huge to negate pressure. A lot of engage in regards to that ult. Burn is flash there as well. Something to comment on. And looks like first tower is actually going to go over to exceL. There's pressure coming out. Oh.
By breaking out, as now Venza's getting engaged on his super low. The Blade Cooler should be able to pick it up. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade underneath tower. Duel gets taken down. Special manages to answer back in exceL. First turret blood, but they did lose a couple of kills in that bot lane, and they're probably going to lose the turrets as well. However, Prem on that Victor is going to be able to shove the wave in and take a lot of damage out of it. Shikari did roam through, though, to make sure it doesn't go down, but Rift Herald getting picked up for exceL as well. Net game's hard to call here, actually.
Yeah, and this is just, it shows the higher level teams. exceL has pressure top lane. They go to take the tower and zone out. Taxa picks up a lot of gold from having Misfits side of the jungle. The Misfits just punish instantly. Their macro is really solid, and they, although they do lose a member because Prospire was lacking flash, they managed to pick up both Venz and Jewel and the bot towers. Not too much of an unfortunate situation, especially when you are a scaling composition. exceL does pick up the Rift Herald in return. Looks like they're going to try and use this towards the mid lane, as it did get chunked out by Kumel. Easily pick it up. Situation is now, you have exceL's bot lane going towards the tower and Misfits bot lane going towards the top tower. Makes absolute sense with regards to their next objective. But it means you no longer have the Gnar matching up against the Gangplank. He has picked up a Frozen Malik. Great when you're fighting a Gangplank. Not too useful when you're 1v2 or 1v3 under a tower. And you can see both top laners are backing off very aggressively.
Solid Cannon Barrage coming through, though, to make sure that wave does get cleared out. And The tempo advantage will be handed over to Misfits. Now, Taxa looking for special here. Goes in with the damage. Rune Prison will pin him in place, and Sendo's entering into the fray. It's a 3v1, and special with the speed buff will be able to walk out of there. Turret is going to fall under the pressure. Taxa summons down the Rift Herald.
Yeah, it looks like Misfits are just going to keep going top. exceL
pressure in that top, yeah.
Pressure mid to use the Herald, but this isn't a good trade. You're now trading evenly when you've had the Herald. And you're losing an inner tower, and they're not even getting the bot tower.
They're not even getting the bot tower at all, and actually they're just pressuring in for mid. Special still trying to deal a 2v3. Gets a bit of damage. Tower shots are coming down onto Sendo's. He's now going to be the one forced to tank it. Shikari's coming up as well to make sure the Rift Herald does not pressure anymore, and it's actually a 2-for-2 turret net gain for both teams here, but we're seeing exceL hanging around that bot side. They could look to push into this tower and actually give themselves their 4th turret of the game, but it's just going to get answered back by Misfits. They're matching each other step for step so far.
Yeah, bluffs being called on both sides. Misfits call exceL's bluff, and they go for the 2nd tower, and then exceL call Misfits bluff. And I mean, because Misfits could have gone for the inhibitor tower even top lane if they'd continued to push, but they assumed exceL would pull back. exceL didn't. They went for another tower mid. And all in all, comes out 4 turrets to 4 turrets, with exceL still 1.6 gold ahead. So very even in terms of macro between these two teams.
Massively even.
Quite a very close competitive game. Looks like exceL are going to pick up this Cloud Drake here. Not hugely impactful. On 8.3, the Cloud Drake's still, I mean, I'm not going to say useless, but not the most useful dragon.
I love it. I love the Cloud Drake. A little bit of speed buff.
There is a buff on the PB coming through to it that will make it a bit stronger and more effective when in combat. Didn't get to see the next Drake unless it was a Cloud again, but
we'll check that in a minute.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that this does actually really do is it works into Misfits really well here, actually, purely because of the fact that they want to scale. They want Special to get a couple of items under his belt. He's got that Roa stacking. He's got that Archangels that he needs to get up to the Seraphim. And then Shikari as well. He's got a Triforce, needs a little bit more time. Is he going to go into the Gauge, or is he going to go into the Infinity Edge and just go full crit and invest into getting damage as soon as possible? That's what we're going to have to find out for him.
I think exceL's mid game is coming online soon. They now have 2 item spike and Sendo with the Frozen Mallet and Black Cleaver. Venza's going to be very close to his Runan's Hurricane. That is his big 2 item spike. And Kumel's going to have his Lich Bane. And most likely Taxa will have his, I'm presuming he's going to go for a Dustblade. And I feel like that is a time where they want to start pulling the trigger and looking for fights. If they wait any longer, Gangplan's going to get some real damage and tankiness with hysterics, no doubt.
Oh, Taxa looking for Shikari, actually. Pops himself invisible. Shikari's got the barrels down. Got a lot of damage on that Triforce. Gonna force Taxa out. And Taxa, he's got 1 kill, but he hasn't felt like he's done a lot on this Kha'Zix. And it's a bit like the LeBlanc in the last game. As you move later, it does get less and less impactful in the team fights.
I think what he's done is he's provided gradual pressure and he's managed to facilitate his team. I feel like Kremel was in such a bad situation. Yes, he is still behind Special, but he has found himself in a place where he can scale. Obviously, exceL doesn't have the overall scaling comp, but Victor does need items to get to where he needs to be. Right now, Misfits have got control of the Baron area, though. And they do have a rather fast Baron. Ryze has a lot of constant damage you can pump out, and once you stack up enough feathers on Crispig's Zaya, you can really chunk it out.
Max is out at about 9, if I remember right, on Blade Caller. And one of the things that with this is Misfits really, really love to pressure the Baron. They love to play around Baron. Got a lot of Barons under their belt in the Prem. 6 so far, and if they can get their hands on that, and they like to get their hands on it early, they will go for it. exceL are probably fully aware of this, so they are playing around that Baron pit, knowing that if they give over a window to Misfits, Misfits will punish them for it.
Yeah, and it's just a push or pull factor right now. Misfits run out of wards, they go for the recall. Now exceL will push up to get some over Baron. Both teams pretty evenly matched, but the key thing here is getting deep wards. Neither the top lane is too great a TP
exceL looking for Special. Walked over a control ward, so he found him out there. It's going to be fine. And again, Misfits going for the pressure, going for the vision control around Baron. They want exceL to be questioning whether or not it's going to get started up or not. Scary situation for exceL. They don't want to overcommit for an objective and lose Baron, but they do want the fight because they've got this great mid-game fight.
Yeah, right now, Zaya's sitting on 2 items. Not the greatest situation for her. Yes, she has the reduced cooldown on her abilities, but she doesn't have that Infinity Edge for the extra 20% crit. Jules going to walk up here.
Death Push coming through. There's going to be the ulti. Actually pulls him in with the Fate's Call. Well, almost goes down. Those summoner spells burnt, but they did burn Venza's Fate's Call. Yeah,
it's a decent call to take. They're actually going aggressive on special here.
Misfits looking for the damage. That's going to be the ulti. Cannon Barrage to follow as well. Looks like exceL are just going to easily be able to pick up this kill as Flicked is forced to Arctic Assault over the wall to escape any more damage or any more unnecessary deaths for Misfits.
This is exactly what Taxa wants to be doing. He has the Dust Blade and the Moby Boots. He wants to be moving through the jungle, find an opportunity to land on this Rise who, yes, he had his flash up, but that's his only mobility, and he managed to burst him out. But the amount of damage fired back, pretty insane. Taxa might need to pick up something defensive soon enough. He's going to get bursted so hard by this enemy team.
Now it looks like exceL are actually looking towards this Baron Nashor. All of the team are hanging around there. Sendo sitting on base, waiting to TP into a fight if he's needed to.
Something to note, Taxa recalled and bought 3 control wards. krumel also sitting on 3. And there's just so many on the side of exceL. Only 1 currently in the inventories of Misfits.
So was looking for Crispegg. Now Duel actually could get caught out. Grand Entrance comes down. Blade Cooler will be there for the ultimate. Glacial Fish is going to get dodged out as Venza now. He's in a little bit of a scary situation, but he's underneath his tower. He's nice and mobile on this Kalista. And again, an attempted engage from Misfits does get botched almost. Botched maybe a little bit too harsh.
I think they went to trade aggressively, see what they could pull out. I think they wanted the flash from Jewel. He knew he wasn't under too much threat. He only really had Crispegg firing into him. So he held his flash, got out with only being his ult. I think both teams trying to push each other, see where they'll break. And both teams aware of when they need to flash away or when they can save it.
Baron Nashor is the objective, but they're both dancing around. exceL are terrified of Misfits getting on that. Just making sure they have constant vision. All the teams fighting over Baron vision. You're seeing Misfits have based away to refresh their wards, get a couple more control wards. They're currently sitting on 4 in their inventory. Chikari taking a bit of a fight with Sendo. Forced to flash already. Sendo with this Frozen Mallet is really pumping the damage in. He's looking maybe for a dive here. Doesn't have that Mega Gnar yet because he's tired.
Yeah, really smart flash from Chikari actually. Obviously, terrible situation to be in. But he knows once the Gnar's on top of you, he has this Frozen Mallet. Once you're slowed, you either flash early or if when you flash late, you risk dying. So he respects Sendo enough. He respects the Gnar to flash early. He gets out. Yes, he burnt his flash, but could be a lot worse because if you die, you risk giving away a lot more to the enemy team.
Remember, Baron Nashor as a Kalista can clear through this nice and quick. exceL hiding around. Crispegg doesn't want to be the one standing forward. A 3-man knockout comes through, followed up by the damage. There's going to be everything thrown down, and Misfits lose 3. It's a triple kill onto krumel, and this will be Baron Nashor.
What a combo coming from the side of Misfits, and they didn't have anything to check the Baron, and so all 3 of them walked up, obviously scared with exceL's fast Baron, how low it could be. And exceL just called the bait, and that was just devastating. You had the knock-up from Jewel, comboed with the stun from krumel, and all the AoE damage with the Runans from Kalista as well. Oh, the impeccable play from exceL, and they're rewarded with the Baron, and this is huge for them.
exceL on track to tie with Misfits in Group A. It will be an absolutely incredible position for them to be in if they can get this win under their belts. But they've still got a lot of work to do. Misfits won't go down without a fight. They will challenge them at every hurdle they can.
Yeah, and Zaya is still scaling. She's still going towards the point she needs to be. You look at Chikari, you look at Special. And they're looking for a bit of an aggressive play here.
They're playing for their own death push. They're standing on top of a ward. Venza's getting engaged on. Rune Prison's thrown out. Glacial Fish is to follow. Crossfair's come over the wall on the Ricard, but he can't quite find an opening. Another Rune Prison comes through. Special forces the flash out. Overload is almost enough to get the kill. It doesn't quite connect. And he's not going to be able to answer back. Duel walked away with about 20 HP there.
This is a really smart play to do when your enemy team has a Baron. And we saw actually Hyperion do it even We saw Hyperion do it against Rager Governors in the last game before the enemy team had even finished the Baron, and it's to play extremely aggressively. And you saw Misfits move so far up, and exceL just didn't expect them to be there, and they got caught off. Yes, they survive, but they lose their summon.
Ulti's coming through. He's bringing in Special. Special's looking for exceL, who's actually about to gnaw out. There we go. He's too tanky for them to really want to chase down. And exceL are actually going to get themselves their second Cloud Drake. Not a bad Drake for them to get their hands on now, as that starts to stack up and they start to get more and more out of movement speed, out of combat movement speed.
Yes, I mean, the summoners on Venza and Duel aren't the most important thing. The thing is they bought time. This Baron's now down to just under half, and that's what they needed there. And again, exceL picked the Drake, but it's a Cloud Drake. Not the most impactful here. Not going to do much for them later in the game. They need to start getting towers with this Baron.
They managed to get only one tower. That was exceL in the top side on that Gnar. Shikari, as he's now got his Zeal, will have a slightly better time clearing out these minion waves. Sterex Gauge as well. As we go later and later, exceL's going to have a harder and harder time to actually kill Shikari.
Yeah, exceL actually going towards the Randuins, which implies he's going for a more tanky team fighting build rather than the split push build, where you'd pick up a Phantom Dancer and even items like a Bloodthirster, where you just want to split push and destroy that gangplank.
Chrisberg has a serious amount of wave clear on the Zyra as well, so he's going to have to clear these waves out relatively easy. Criminal can push though really, really effectively.
Yeah, looks like exceL going to get one more wave with Baron.
Yeah, just about to wear out as Shikari still dealing with exceL. You can do a lot of damage to him, and exceL actually might just get an inhibitor turret here. You might have to see Shikari throw down an ulti just to clear the wave out.
Special is going to teleport
Special's
up.
Going in with the ulti. Actually, exceL is caught out, but he's got himself around the wall and they can't answer back. Fight starting to look to break out in the bot side, but everyone's going to peel away, and it's been a very, very slow-paced game.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Tax is doing here, because he wasn't there to help exceL, but he wasn't there to help his bot lane, and it meant that Special managed to teleport up top without really being punished. All Tax did was grab a wave. Yes, he's now 2 levels ahead of Sejuani, but you really want to be getting some pressure on this tower here.
The bot is now worn out. Special's coming through. He doesn't have ultimate yet, so he can't come in with a flank. Charm ulti comes down. They still have the ability to pull him in. Venza uses Fate's Call to get Duel out, and once again, it's a reverse Tahm Kench. The ADC saves the support.
Yeah, really solid play from Venza. He saw Crossfair's idea. He managed to jump away before the ult came in, and so it was only Duel who got locked up. And it's quite hard to kill a Braum, especially if he's got a Kalista who's going to pull him out. So in this situation, they're going to get another chance to push up on the turret. Crossfair doesn't have his ult. It looks like they'll get it uncontested.
All ultimates thrown down and not going to be able to get any gain. You need to focus down Venza on this Kalista, otherwise you can't find the openings you need. It's been a big old reset now.
Yeah, they have managed to get...
Everyone's gone back to base.
They have managed to get themselves to a 5k gold lead, which is huge. I think with some of the other teams, particularly in the previous game, Rager Governors against Hyperion, gold leads sometimes feel like they're not as impactful just because teams are more able to throw, maybe not clear things out. But I feel like when these are 2 of our strongest teams, a 5k gold lead is very significant. Misfits going to have to do a lot to sort of scale out this gold lead.
And this is a statement piece from exceL as well. They're a team who said, well, they're a team who everyone thinks is kind of third here. You've got Misfits, then Wind and Rain, and then exceL. But exceL really putting their name forward to say, hey, you know, we are a contender for one of the best teams here in the Prem.
And something to note, just in terms of itemization, we've seen exceL and Venza with the QSS actives. Venza upgrading all the way to a mixed scimitar, so really hard to lock those 2 down. And the finished Ceres on both Prumel and Special, so they're going to be a bit bulkier than your average mid laner.
Flict is finding it harder and harder to find a single target he can actually take out. Shikari's now finished up that Phantom Dancer, so he's got some pretty big damage stacked up in him, and when he gets that dueled up with the Infinity Edge, that's when we're really going to look at Shikari and say, right, now it's your turn to really show up for your team. Special, almost full build as well, so these kind of late game carries for Misfits are really starting to hit that late game spike, and Misfits need to pull the trigger, otherwise exceL will just slowly push them in and take down the objectives and just make this a really, really tough game for Misfits.
Yeah, and I think a huge thing is Desire. She's now going for a last tier item to have 100% crit chance, and it does so much damage, especially here E when she pulls through the feathers. Devastating. It's like Tax's going to go for the slow here.
Forward, not actually going to find it duel. Could go for the flash. He manages to connect it down. Here comes Sendo for the slow. Featherstorm gets thrown down. He's looking for the blade call onto multiple members. There's going to be the ulti pulling one in. Special's coming in on the flank though. We could see Misfits look for the opening. Rune Prison gets thrown out, and that's actually going to be Sendo forced to QSS. And nobody dies once again.
Yeah, a bit too forced from Jewel, I think. I mean, he saw the flank from Sendo. Crispig didn't even have to use his flash. They do bring a lot of ultimates though, so looks like they could try and force a Baron here. They still have
on Misfits, and there's 2 still left on exceL. Sendo still has the ability to gnar out and go for it, but actually, I don't know if Misfits are just calling on us and going for the mid lane turret. They're not though, because it's going to be going down. Lots of damage getting thrown onto Baron Nash, and Shikari is on the front line for his team, just pulling them away, and all the while, Special pushing these waves in.
Yeah, and it's one of the situations where because they went for the Baron play, they now have to back off, and Misfits now have the pressure. They may even look for the Baron themselves. No doubt Taxa will stay in the area just in case.
Just going to clear these wards out to the side of Misfits. They want to make sure that they can just get full vision control, and actually they're thinking about it. Taxa's over the wall. They know he's there now because that control wall came down, but look how fast the Baron is falling. It's already on 50% HP. exceL are all there though, so Misfits are just going to be forced to walk away.
And it just goes back and forth. As you can see, because Misfits start the Baron, they have to back off to reset aggro. exceL have recall, they now get control again. Still maintaining around this 5k gold lead, so definitely still in the driver's game. Has stagnated slightly.
But the more and more the game goes on, the less and less the gold lead actually matters. Second Baron Nashor could be stolen away here, as we're actually seeing Special throw down the ulti. They're peeling away. Sendo is in Gnar form, so they don't want to fight while he can stun multiple members, and Baron's getting re-engaged onto. Cannon Barrage gets thrown out. That's going to be the glacial pressure onto Sendo. He's already forced to use the QSS, and Baron is thwarted by Misfits.
It's like exceL are going to move top. They have a large wave here. They're going to look to push, and Misfits have to respect it. Their inhibitor is at risk, whereas they would only be able to push in a tower.
Just have the wave clear though, and I think they're hanging around. Actually, exceL just decide to go straight back onto Baron Nashor. There is no vision for them, but Misfits need to be careful. Taxa's hopping forward, looking for Crispberg.
Big push and pull here from both teams, just trying to get any little slip up, any advantage can cost huge at this point in the game.
Special's actually almost taking that turret down, and whoa, chunks down Sendo. He's really, really threatening at this point. One more item to finish up for Special.
And the thing is, he already has a Void Staff. I mean, Sendo has no MR apart from the QSS as it speaks. They're really struggling to tank out this Rise, but even if he picks up more pieces, he's dealing with the Void Staff already. Almost got 100 CS lead on this Rise being the victor. Just being able to pick up so many waves here. And as a result, I mean, both mid laners are 18, but Rise a lot closer to hitting this power spike he needs.
Oh, Rise is at full build now. Like, oh no, he's not. He's got one more item, sorry. He's got a needlessly large rod. Got a little ahead of myself there. Sendo just forcing Crispberg away. In and out of Baron. exceL can't fully commit, knowing that Misfits do have a really large spike at this point. Zeal finished up. Crispberg's working towards that rapid fire cannon.
Tax is pretty much a poke champ at this point. It's firing. Oh yeah, the mid tower was very low and just actually fall to the minion wave.
What's going to happen? We're actually seeing Sendo start up the Baron. It's currently being started. I can't see the health bar quite yet as we're going to close in on it. Misfits looking for an opening. Prosphere throws down the ultimate. There's going to be the chance of a free man. Gnar comes down and Joel manages to get it. Crispberg is trying to peel and fight his way out. Blade Caller stuns in free, but Special's on the back end of the fight. It's a double kill onto Camille though, and only 2 remain for Misfits. exceL play exceptionally well around Baron, get the bait down, and now they're going to be able to get Baron Nashor.
I just find it absolutely hilarious. It seemed like Taxa's strategy was just be pure bait there. Went right up to Misfits, jumped out. Prospero was like, why is the jungler right in our face? I'm just going to engage in him. But it meant Sendu could turn around and get that huge Gnar into the wall, followed by a wallop. And because of the gold lead, exceL came out ahead. Another issue was Special was a bit too far away when that team fight started. We were saying how strong this Rise is. Wasn't able to do much there. And now exceL are in the driver's seat with the second Baron on their side.
Looking very, very solid against Misfits. Remember, Misfits are undefeated. And exceL hot on their heels, looking to tie out the scoreboards. They want to enter week 4 with a tie and look to push their advantage against Misfits.
And I think this goes beyond scoreboards, because I think most people watching this are fairly confident exceL and Misfits are going to make it into the playoffs. I mean, finals is a different matter, but from playoffs they can both make it to finals. But this isn't about that. This is about saying, yes, you're undefeated, we're going to break that streak, we're going to take you out, and proving that exceL are one of the top teams who can challenge this Misfits roster. And that's what they're looking to do here.
So looking for Shikari. Shikari is going to be forced back. Shikari's had a pretty hard game on Gangplank. We were really bigging him up to be a very good top laner, which he is, but it feels like he's just been under wave clear duty versus exceL, and he hasn't been able to match him all game, unfortunately for himself.
Fortunately though, when the enemy team's got a Baron, that's what you need as a wave clearer. So Shikari's just going to keep throwing barrels down here, and yep, those melee minions don't seem very tanky against the Gangplank.
Not when he's got a Phantom Dancer, a Triforce, BF Sword, and a Staris Gauge. He will be able to cut through these, but even so, exceL with the Victor in the lane are able to just easily shove these waves in, and that cannon has survived about 3 waves so far. So it's quite happily free firing away, and this means there'll be another cannon in this wave. Yep, this wave here. 2 cannon minions now. They've both got to deal with them. Shikari finally takes 1 out at least, but in the meantime, we've got exceL in the mid lane just pushing Special in.
Oh, that Victor damage. Now he has the Rabadons. Just the laser was so much to chunk out Prosper.
And exceL's just going to tank the tower. Just let them go for it. Misfits need to defend, otherwise they will lose the base.
Yeah,
they really don't want to lose this objective.
Third of the Baron left, and looks like exceL will use this wave to get in.
There you go. That's going to be the first turret in the base falling for exceL. They're turning their eyes towards the inhibitor. They're just ignoring Misfits, because Misfits can't really find themselves anything onto them. The peel from exceL is insanely good at the moment, and even with the late game champions, Misfits can't actually get them into the fight in time to blow up the squishies.
Yeah, I feel like the late game is really going to come into effect the further it gets in the game, once you start looking at full build. But at this point, exceL have the gold advantage, and they have the pressure advantage, and they have the advantage of having a Baron. So you're really struggling as Misfits, because if you botch and engage, if you go for something aggressive and it falls, and maybe you only land an engage on the Braum onto someone like the Kha'Zix, who isn't the most useful member, you'll lose the game and give yourself the first loss of the split. So not something they're willing to go for unless the opportunities are really clear. And I think the issue is as well is, who are you going to engage on? Krumel has Cleanse, Sendu has QSS, Denz has Merc Scimitar, and really you saw what happened when they engaged on Taxa. It just doesn't really do much, and the rest of the team will turn around on you. So it's a difficult position for Misfits. They're definitely looking to just stall out this Baron with as little losses as possible. But beyond that, gonna have to start trying to get back to this game somehow. Again, like we said, Stolen's gonna help them out, and they will scale well.
I mean, scaling's done at this point. I mean, you've got Chrisberg, who just needs to finish up his last Whisper. A couple more items onto Shikari on the Gangplank, who's had a pretty hard game versus exceL. But outside of that, Misfits are at the point where they really should be in their power spike versus exceL, who had a mid-game comp. Yes, Krumel on the Victor does have some decent late game as well, but we were really talking and bigging up Misfits' late game potential in this game. But exceL utilized their mid game to the biggest extent, to the fullest of its capabilities, and they're using this to completely just gain dominance over exceL, over Misfits.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think one of the things that we're going to look to before the late game is Special picking up the Rabadons on this Rise. Krumel is now full build with Void stuff, as you said. But yep, Special has now picked up the Rabadons. So this is really where it's like, wow, Rise is huge. He wants to be smashing people. But the issue is momentum and pressure. exceL have this bot wave shoving in these super minions. They're looking to get as much control as they can, and Elder Dragon is up in 2 minutes. And this is the worst thing for Misfits, because they can contest a Baron and they have a chance of stealing it. But with an Elder Dragon, you don't get very much if you steal it, because they have 0 dragons. exceL have 3. If exceL get a 3-stack Elder Dragon, they're going to absolutely decimate you in team fights. Scaling be damned.
That was going to be very, very fast. Taxa hanging about. Ooh, Glacial Prison goes a little bit wide. Doesn't quite connect onto him, and Chrisberg will be able to get himself a red buff, but Rest of exceL just pressuring in. Taxa's behind the team, looking to try and get the spikes down, but Cannon Barrage gets thrown out already by Shikari to clear out the wave.
And this is where the aggression, I mean, the play where you sort of hide and you look for an opportunity to penetrate the enemy team, it can cost you. And as a result, exceL were able to get some free damage in the turret, and Misfits had to use that Cannon Barrage to zone them off, which doesn't sound huge, but it's a major ultimate at this point in the game. It applies an AoE slow, and they also ended up using the Glacial Prison. But they're now in a position where 1 minute until the Elder Dragon, they're down on ultimates. Yes, they're going to be coming up soon, but it means you have to play reserved until then. And exceL have just got so much pressure. Misfits are limited to that base.
And Shikari looking forward onto exceL, but exceL is just super tanky now. And exceL just constantly pressuring. It feels like Misfits are just, they can't really find an opening at all in this game. We are actually going to see a root go down onto Joel, but Fate's call once again from Venza means Duel will not get picked off, and Duel has been engaged on multiple times this game, has only died once.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. exceL, we've said coming into this as the underdogs, I think everyone put Misfits as the favourites. Obviously, they're undefeated. All of exceL's members have been playing incredibly well.
This is going to be the fight. They have to fight over Elder Drake, or this is just game nice and easy. exceL looking to start it up. Tax has already used his leap to get over that wall, and now Misfits looking for an opening. Remember, Fate's call is down, but the Glacial Prison is up if they want to go for it. Elder Drake's on about half HP for the moment, and Shikari's starting to line those barrels up, getting them ready. Specials in the fight. This is full 5 members. A flick's gone in, thrown down the ulti. That's a lot of damage onto Duel though, but they're going to peel out. The Glacial Fish is there, followed up by the Cannon Barrage. Special locks one in place, can't actually connect for any more damage. Now Elder Drake getting started up. Honey Fruit comes through as well, just to heal them, and that is going to be Misfits getting themselves an Elder Drake.
And Misfits going to run straight to Baron here. Really great position for Misfits. This is where the scaling comes in. They got the AoE damage onto exceL.
And look at the pings. exceL are pinging bot lane. They're just running straight down for it. They might just try and end the game, while 2 members for Misfits are just going to try and take Baron Nashor. There is a lot of wave clear on Shikari. That's the only concern, and that's an inhibitor that will fall to exceL. So even though they don't gain an Elder Drake or a Baron Nashor, they are actually just looking to gain the win here.
But they're unable to push against that much wave clear. They end up losing the Baron as well to Misfits, so not the best play for them. They lose out on both of the neutral objectives, and when the game's on a timer against the scaling comp, not the best macro decision for them.
Time has hit 44 minutes as Misfits slowly trying to find openings to get back in the game. They almost won that team fight, and it did gain them an Elder Drake, and it also did gain them a Baron Nashor. They now need to use this to actually start opening the map up for themselves, because at the moment they've been playing very defensive. They now need to play aggressive. They want to go forward. They want to get these inhibitor turrets down.
Yeah, and the pressure is completely gone on the Misfits side. Gold is pretty irrelevant at this point, but even so, they've caught up to only a 2.5k deficit. Very, very slight at this point in the game. Most champions, at least the carries, sitting on full build. And with Baron and Elder Drake, exceL are most likely going to give this tower up. But at what point are they going to be able to stop this? Yeah.
Look how quick it's going. This is going to be the power of the Misfits comp if they can get onto the structures. And they've got a big, big wave to work with. Chrisberg stepping forward. He's going to take a couple of shots, but look at that turret already. He's currently on half HP. exceL looking to try and pressure in for the win. They really do not want to go 4-1. They want to go 5-0. And they do answer back with an inhibitor in the bot lane. But Sendo, on the other hand, pushing out top slave. And exceL are fully aware of this. So they're willing to actually just buy time, try and stop the bases. Tax is hanging around. Doesn't want to give up his life for it, though. Cannon Barrage has been thrown out by Shikari, who does have teleport if he needs to. Sendo's just going to tank this tower up. Looks like for now he will not do so, and the bases are going to start to come through from Misfits.
Special has ghosted here.
Yes, indeed. Special. Oh, look at the damage. Taxa loses so much of his health, but again, this is just the story of Misfits. They've only got 2 kills. Every fight, they almost get a kill, but they just can't finish it up.
Actually, I think I would just like to see Sendo TP in that fight. He was close to his mega, and I feel like Misfits was so clumped. That is your opportunity to go for a team fight, because stalling out isn't helping exceL. I mean, yes, Misfits did have the Elder Drake, but it's a 0 Dragon Elder buff. Not going to do a massive amount at this point in the game. And I feel like that was your opportunity to get a great team fight. You have the AoE damage, and they were all tied together. But exceL decided to hold out, and the gold lead is almost inconsequential at this point. And it looks like both teams are going to be looking for the next neutral objective to secure this game. Both inhibitors down the bot lane, which means the shove, yes, it'll favor whoever shoved it last, but it won't be a massive issue for either side.
Remember, Misfits will be respawning relatively soon as well, but exceL only just lost theirs. So the inhibitor shove will at some point be a problem for exceL sooner than it will be for Misfits. Misfits now content with just sitting back, knowing that they're not going to have a constant shove of super minions coming into their bot lane looking to end the game for them because they can answer back. And everyone's full build apart from Afflict, who's sitting on a control ward, and also Prospere, who's sitting on 2 control wards, and actually he's quite a way to go still.
Yeah, junglers and supports always. Yeah, junglers and supports always take a while to get the items, but the main thing is the carries have all the gold. Could see some item changes come out. It's obviously not optimal for Kalista. She needs TF2 boots to get the increased jump range, but champions like Gangplank definitely benefit from switching out their boots for more crit if they feel the need. And when you're a Gangplank, I mean, at this point in the game, who really cares what items you have? As long as you've got a whapping help him with crit, you can destroy everyone.
We've got Special down in the bot lane, just pushing that wave out for the team. Well, exceL are grouped up as a 5-man unit in the mid lane. No Baron Nashor for them to kind of really get any control over. That was only taken fairly recently.
Yeah, only just expired fairly recently, but I think they're looking for Misfits to pull their bluff. Pushing the fog of war.
Running it down mid.
Which they should. If they push mid, you know, the bot lane's building up. If they push mid, exceL can't really do anything, but it looks like they're just going to go top.
Ooh, okay.
A base race.
We could have a base race on our hands. Cannon Barrage is going to come down from Shikari to try and stop this.
Yeah, and it literally just
recognize that, and they're going to get the recall off, but this is a massive tempo advantage for Misfits.
They might get the tower here. They have so much damage, but exceL are running with home guards. Kumal's going to be there in time.
They've got home guards. They're all back in time. Chrisberg only gets 1 auto onto the tower before the team get there. Here comes the engage though for Duel. He throws down the Glacial Fish. It doesn't quite connect. A Special looks to land a lot of damage onto Sendo. That's going to be 1 kill. Actually, no, it's going to be a GA pop. Venza has taken down Shikari. This is big. Tax has already gone golden, and that's going to be a double kill onto Venza. He's looking for a couple more. Afflict is on the run. It's a triple kill. He might be going forward for the quadra kill. Can he make it connect? Tax is there. Criminal's coming through with the damage. The lasers are down, and Sendo manages to answer with the kill. Afflict is the only one who remains, and he has Criminal hot on his heels, but it looks like this is going to be exceL looking to end the game versus Misfits.
The question is, can they? Long death timers, but they don't really have a minion wave in position. Huge team fight for exceL though. The engage wasn't too clean and they couldn't get on top of the carries, and the AoE damage from exceL came in strong. This is exactly where they want to fight, in the jungle, tight spaces. Kumel's ult was devastating as no one could really escape it, and it did so much damage to the carries.
Completely blew up Venza. Venza had a hard game. That's going to be the inhibitor dropping in the bot lane. And they've still got 20 seconds before Special's up. Shikari will be up fairly soon as Afflict actually goes for a solo kill under tower. This is massive.
As well.
It's going to be the ace from Krimil though. He did go down. A double kill onto Afflict.
Really questionable decisions coming out from exceL, and as a result there's now 60 seconds on those champions and only 40 seconds on the Baron. It seems unlikely Misfits will go for it just because it's risky when you don't have a smite yourself. This gives them such a pressure advantage for such a large amount of time. After that impeccable team fight from exceL. Giving a lot back to Misfits here.
Now, Orcs. This is going to be the longest game in the ESL Premiership in 20 seconds time.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but if I was in the longest game, I would quite like to be playing a 6-item Gangplank.
Yeah, with Static Shiv, everything finished up. 7 seconds till Baron Nashor starts. This will die very, very quick. Remember, Tax is dead. There is no smite for exceL. This is really, really bad for exceL, as Misfits are going to start it up. That Baron Nashor is going to lose its health extremely quick into all of the damage that Chrisberg, Shikari, and everyone else is going to be able to do. That's going to be the charm thrown down. 2 members knocked up. Here's going to be the Glacial Fissure come through as the silence comes down. Venza is on a rampage as he manages to get a kill. He's going to be forced to go down. Blade Cooler is absolutely massive. Duel goes down. It is going to be a double kill onto Shikari. And there's going to be so many minions they have to deal with, though.
Insane how much damage was done from both mid laners there, just absolutely shredding the enemy champion.
Taxa looking maybe for just the execute onto Chrisberg, but he can't quite do so.
Going for the
be able to peel away. Super's peeling into the base, though. Misfits need to deal with this. They either need to end now or go for it. It's do or die for Misfits. They're onto the turret. That's going to be the inhibitor turret dropping. They're looking for the second one, but look at Taxa. He's just beelining for the base. He's beelining for the win right now. He could make this happen. Shikari does have teleport as well if they want to go for it. Now he's going to be forced to use it. Taxa's already taken one turret. He's looking for another, but Shikari's in there in time. He has the barrels to clear it out, and the rest of Misfits are inside exceL's base. Oh, Sendo's been caught out. Special's looking for the damage. He's got so much with Chrisberg as Chrisberg drops down Sendo. That is 3 kills onto the Xayah. And with this, Misfits are going to look to try and end the game. Oh, Taxa takes down Special. That is so big. Taxa even gets out of his life. And exceL have managed to buy time and stay in this game. 52 minutes on the clock.
What was that? That was insane from Tax. It just comes in with a burst. I didn't see that coming. I thought he was just going to try and clear the wave, but he takes out Special, and this rise is so huge right now. And this could be exceL's chance to get back in the game. They have lost bot and mid inhibitor, but they have an enemy bot inhibitor to answer. They could look to contest the Baron here. They have numbers advantage. Should look for pressure here, but Misfits know that might happen, and they're waiting in that brush. I wouldn't want to face check into that at this point in the game. You will get
Misfits
one
are
shot.
fully content waiting this out. They've got 2 waves of super minions working in their favor. A big stack in that top side, and Duel standing forward. Taxa needs to be careful. He could get blown up. Barrels and everything get thrown out. It goes a little bit wide, but Taxa loses a lot of health. Gravity Field's there.
Taxes and Viz caused Afflict to completely whiff that ult. And looks like they're going to start up the Baron. They have the confidence because of the Callista to build up the stacks. Sendu's on his way, but Special hasn't spawned yet. Special does have TP though, so this might favor Misfits.
This could favor Misfits indeed. Just going to fall away. Baron Nash is going to recover help. Look at the TPs coming through. Special's joining back into the team fray here. Sendo looking for an opening. Hasn't actually got that Narbar stack too far up quite yet. Blade Cooler's there. Shikari's forced out. Glacial Fissure comes down. Doesn't actually connect onto a single target. And Shikari's on half HP. They're looking for the win. Misfits are going for the end. There's going to be the portal. Delivers them in. Super minions are in the base, and Misfits are going for the end. They're all recalling for the side of exceL, and the turret's under fire. That's going to be the first. The Nexus turret falling. They're looking for the second, but the fight's there. There's going to be the ulti from Prem. He's trying to get in. There's Duels into the back fray. That's the second turret. The Nexus is under fire, and Chrisberg's trying to end. I don't know if he can do it. He's looking for the kills. He's looking for the end. The Nexus is on 1/4 HP. Prosphere, there's 2 Misfits members left, and Prosphere's trying to end the triple kill, and the Nexus drops. Misfits are undefeated. Wow. That was hype. That was insanely hype.